Hey, so good evening. We'll give 2-3 minutes and then we'll get started. We'll just give last 1 more minute and then we'll get started. Fine, guys, we'll get started. I'll share the screen. Fine, guys, we'll get started with the topics, whatever that is planned as per the batch. Okay. The first topic is going to be, as I said earlier, before getting into the engineering topics, we'll spend some time on the basics of Java, basics of JVM, uh, to get ourselves comfortable with these terminologies, uh, like methods, class, object, how a program is going to look like, our developer is going to use these in the program, how it is getting compiled, how it is getting deployed. So some of these basic stuff we will try to understand and learn. Objective here is to, before we go into engineering topic, these things should not be a black box for you. Uh, it's not like I am using JProfiler, I'm using Dynatrace. It is giving some information. I take you to developer without a conviction. If you're going to talk to developer about their own code, uh, many times we are going to get a defensive response from them, right? They are not going to accept, or they are not going to even listen to our conversation. Okay, so to make those conversation effective, to go and talk about the analysis, whatever you get from JProfiler or Dynatrace, it is good to get these basic thing cleared. That's objective of this introduction session on Java and JVM. Okay, so the basic prerequisite is, for all these our the practical hands-on on all the engineering topics, you should have a Java in your mission, right? That's a basic prerequisite to be available. So you can download the Java and then install it from Oracle site or the Open JDK. You can just download. When from Oracle site, you can go and register with your Gmail account, and you can download the Oracle Java 8 or Java 11. Anything is okay. If you download Java 8 or Java 11, I think most of our softwares will be compatible. But even otherwise, it is not a problem. Okay, but I recommend you to install Java 8. Okay. Now, again, when you download and install Java 8, um, it's a very simple process. Okay, you just click, click, click. It will get installed, or it might be already there in your system. We go to command prompt and then uh, check the Java version. Go to command prompt and type in Java version. Okay. Um, you will see 1.8 for me. I'm using Java 8, so it shows me Java 8. Okay. For you, it might be Java 11 or 15 or 17, whatever it is. That is fine. Now, sometimes if the version is not showing up here, or once your Java is installed, right, there's something called, say, you might have been hearing this JDK, JVM, JRE, might be in a different context. You might be hearing these terminologies, right? So JDK is your superset, Java Development Kit. Okay, it will the entire all the components of Java will be in JDK. Okay, it is a development kit, which means a developer is going to use it for creating Java programs, compiling it, debugging it, to deploy it, to run it. For everything, for all these things you need a JDK. Okay, within JDK, you're going to have your Java runtime environment, JRE. Okay, JRE is one component. Another component is going to be a compilers, debuggers, and Java documents. Okay, which means for you to use a Java application. Okay, for example, if you want to use Jmeter, Jmeter is a Java application, right? And if you wanted to run your Tomcat, right, and deploy the application, you don't need entire JRE. Sorry, you don't need the entire JDK. You just need a Java runtime environment to execute a Java application. To open a Java application, you just need a Java runtime environment. Okay, which, as a name says, it's a runtime, and you'll get an environment where you can run your Java application. That's why it is called as Java runtime environment. And Java runtime environment will have your Java virtual machine. This virtual machine will need CPU, will need memory, and it will actually your Java code will be executed in this virtual machine, Java virtual machine. Okay, that's a segregation, or that's a explanation of JDK is a superset. Within that, you have a Java runtime environment, and then in the Java runtime environment, you will have a Java virtual machine. Now, if you go and look into your Java folder, right, it is all a directory structure. Okay, if you go to your folder wherever Java is installed, in my case, it is there in the C
Satish, are you
program.
sharing your screen?
Yes, I am. Others can
What
able
is
to
the
view it.
system?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
able to see.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can see it
visible.
here.
Yeah, probably what you can do is you can just log out once and log in again.
Sure, thank you.
Sure, sure. Okay. Now if you go to Java and then you see JDK. Okay. And if you go to JDK, I see bin, and in the bin, I see my java.exe, right? And along with the java.exe, you will see uh, JConsole, you will see Jmap. So all these are all uh, uh, part of your JDK bin directory, which is required for any Java application to work. Okay, so the structure of this is Java, you have a JDK, and within that JDK, you have bin, you also have a JRE. Okay, inside bin, you have a Java.exe, and then Java JConsole, Jmap, all these debugging utilities, you have it here. And then if you go back, you have JRE, and if you go to bin, you go to server, you will see a jvm.dll. Okay, so end of the day, whatever we talk about JVM, JDK, it is nothing but a software by itself, right? And when you install Java, you get this folder structure from JDK to JRE, bin, all these things are going to be there. Now, once you install Java, okay, just go and check the environmental variables. Okay, in the environmental variables, it is better to add these things. Okay, add a variable called Java if it is not added. Okay, Java, and then the path should be wherever you have a java.exe, right? Wherever you have a java.exe, that path you have to give it here. It's not only for your engineering sessions or you to practice, right? In general, in your projects, when you're going to install some softwares, for example, for whatever reasons you need InfluxDB, Grafana, okay? For monitoring your Jmeter test, if you need Grafana and InfluxDB, your InfluxDB will require Java in that machine. So you have to install Java, right? And sometimes InfluxDB will not start because it won't be able to recognize where the Java is. Even though you install Java, your InfluxDB will not open. Your softwares will not open. Okay, so go to this environmental variables, see whether Java variable is set, which has to be /bin. Wherever you see java.exe, that directory is what you have to give it here. And then there's something called Java Om. Java Om is nothing but wherever your entire JDK folder is present, right? So my JDK is a home. That's where my Java starts. My Java libraries folder is originating, right? So for a Java Om, I give up to JDK. Okay. Now if you go to the path variable, okay, the path variable, you go and provide your Java JDK bin. Again, it is for a java.exe. Wherever java.exe is there, you have to provide that path here. So three things you give it: Java, Java Home, and then add it to the path variable. Okay. Once this is done, close it, and again open a new command prompt, and then check for Java version. Okay. So this is the first thing what you have to do. So for again from a development perspective, and for you to do some coding compilation and all, you need entire JDK. Okay, in the load generator machines, in the server environment, maybe JDK is not required because there we are going to just execute your Tomcat or open some of the Java application. For that, you need just JRE. Okay, this is for your understanding what it means, what is JDK, what is JVM, and what is JRE. Okay, for our training session, you install JDK. You let's have everything because we are going to use tools like JConsole, JVisual VM, We are going to take heap dump and thread dump using JStack or JMap. Or for all these things, you need all these utility that is going to be there in the JDK. Okay. Now, so this is the first thing you have to do it in your laptop. Check your Java version. If not, install Java and set the environmental variables. Okay. Now, the JVM, as the name says, it's a virtual machine, right? So if you take any machine, if I take my laptop needs CPU, my laptop needs memory, right? Similarly, your JVM as well, it's a subset. It's a virtual environment that will be created where my Java code will get executed. Okay, so the way the JVM is designed, or the JVM architecture uh, is, you have a couple of components. Okay, in fact, three components. Um, a class loader is a component, not of much useful for us. Not that we just give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry guys. So there is a class loader. Class loader is a component which is going to take care of loading all your classes. Okay, you will learn about what is class, all these things in the next few minutes. But basically, your Java application will have set of Java programs, right? When it compiles, we call it as a class. If you see in the right hand side, you create Java programs and you name it as um, welcome.java or login.java, search.java, all are programs, right? And then when you compile it, it becomes a class, .java to .class. And then so application can have a multiple classes, right? Multiple Java programs. Okay. When you run those, when you create a jar or var, or when you run that class file directly from a command line or from Eclipse, wherever, it will get, all the classes will get loaded into your JVM, because JVM is the one which is going to execute the code. So all the classes have to be loaded. So there's a component called class loader. Nothing more than that is required for us. Even for developers, they don't even worry about these class loaders. Okay. As name suggests, it is going to load the class. Second is going to be important component called memory. Your JVM needs memory, right? So your application is going to have a lot of variables, integers, characters, booleans, strings, arrays. A lot of things are going to get declared in your program to temporarily store the input and output. That is as simple as that, right? Right from your school or college, whenever we create programs, there will be variables declared to store the input, to store the interim processing data, and to store the output before it goes into the console or a UI or a database. Your program will have multiple variables. So which means your JVM is the one which is going to execute the code. So it needs memory, right? So JVM memory is going to be one of the main component within the JVM architecture. In JVM memory, there are again multiple sections or multiple partitions. Okay, you have something called metaspace, heap, stack, PC register, native method stack. All these components are going to store different things. Okay, now out of these 5 components, okay, two components are very important, and in that the heap is a one which is going to be of our most important, not only from conceptually, but also from a monitoring, profiling, uh, and there are going to be issues. We have to benchmark it. So heap is going to be a huge focus area. The reason is, um, in your, again, if you go back to the program, right? Any simple program, if you take it, as I said, there is going to be multiple things that is going to get declared. Integer, character, boolean. All these are all very small declarations, small variables, not going to have much space. It's not going to take much space. Okay. Whereas there are going to be like strings, arrays, objects, which are going to be of having comparatively, it is going to hold larger memory. Okay. So all these will be going in detail into this heap and all later. But at high level, from architecture perspective, Your heap is going to heap is going to take care of storing all your strings, arrays, objects, and there is something called stack, the fourth one, right? The fourth component. Stack component is going to take care of your integer, character, boolean, which are small things. Yesterday, if you remember, I was telling about a thread, and thread will have a small memory portion, I said, right? So that memory portion is called stack. Every thread will have a small area called stack memory. Okay, that stack memory will hold your integer, boolean, all small variables. Okay, but again, you don't get confused with a lot of these things. We will go in detail later when we go into the memory heap, memory leak. During that time, I'll explain it in detail. But for now, you just understand that in your JVM architecture, JVM memory is a huge component. In that, you have multiple sections like heap, stack, and other PC register, etc. In that, two things are very important: is stacks and heap. JVM stack and heap. JVM stack is going to take care of integer, character, boolean, small declarations, variables. It is going to get stored in the stack, whereas objects, your strings, arrays, all these things are going to get stored in the heap. Okay, and there are three most components: metaspace, which is going to store all the metadata about the classes. Metadata instance, the information about the classes, right? What classes are there? Some of the static variable that you declare in the program that will also go into the metaspace. Okay, so sorry, some background. Somebody is on speaker. Can you guys go on mute? I'll try to mute it. Sorry, I am muted. Okay, let me continue. Okay. Yeah. So metaspace is going to hold the static variables and some metadata about the classes. Again, 256 we will not worry, we will not monitor, we will not configure, we will not benchmark. There is not going to be much issue. We're not going to troubleshoot that at all. So we'll not focus on 256. From a definition perspective, if at all there's a question coming in interview, mostly not. They won't ask about 562. Just for information, yeah, the metaspace is going to have your static variables are going to get stored in the metaspace. Some metadata about the classes will be there in the metaspace. Okay, number 5 and 6. 5 is a PC register. It is just going to keep information about what are about the thread and what lines of code it is executing. That statistics kind of a thing, it is going to be there in PC register. It's a registry, as name says, it is a registry. Again, we don't even know, we will not even know there is something called PC register, because we are not going to see anywhere in the engineering or even in the project. We are going to monitor all these things. Okay, so 3 and 4 is a important area. We will deep dive into that in the upcoming sessions when we go into the memory. Maybe 3 days, 4 days later, we'll go into the memory. That time I will give a more insight about heap and stack. Okay, so you have memory, and then you need an execution, right? Your code has to be executed. There is from an execution perspective, you have an execution engine, and the execution engine is going to execute your code, right? So for executing your code, where is it? Yeah. So execution engine, to execute a code, right? There are 4 components again inside the execution engine. You have interpreter, you have hotspot profiler, JIT compiler. All the three things going to take care of executing your code. Okay. Inside that, what happens is your Java compiled code, what we call as a byte code, right? It will get converted into a machine understandable code. For example, in Windows, there will be a jvm.dll, which will convert your Java code into a machine understandable code. In Linux machine, okay, there is going to be a jvm.sh, which is going to take care of converting the same code into a Linux understandable code. Okay, so execution engine, the interpreter, JIT compiler, hotspot profiler are going to take care of converting your bytecode to a machine understandable code, and it is going to execute. And there's one more component called garbage collection, which is again a very important component from our engineering perspective, is part of execution engine. Okay, so garbage collection, end of the day, is nothing but a set of code by itself, set of libraries, which is going to get started along with the JVM. GC's main job is to go and clean up your heap. Okay, the unwanted objects, the objects which are not required, it will go and identify and it will go and delete. Okay, in a single line, that's what garbage collection is going to be. Uh, its main functionality, right? Collecting the garbage, collecting the unwanted objects. Okay, that's a huge topic we will learn later. But more from a architecture perspective, you have your class loader, JVM memory, and then you have an execution engine. You create Java programs, you compile it, it becomes class, you run it, that it will go into JVM, it will get loaded, all the classes will get loaded into the JVM, and then it will get executed, and you get an output. That's a very simple flow of how a Java is getting created, compiled, and then executed. Okay, we'll see this little practically as well as we move forward, so that it should not be all Greek and Latin for you. We will just go into the some hands-on with programming as well. Okay, I'll just take a pass. If you guys have any basic questions, some of these things you might be already aware of. If you're automation test engineer, you might already be knowing about Java and all. But others, if you have any basic questions, please ask.
When you mentioned metaspace is nothing but method area, right?
Yes, method area earlier, before Java 8, it is called as method area. Okay, and earlier, like heap, we also will go and configure the memory for method area, like 1 GB RAM, 1 GB memory, 2 GB memory. We'll go and configure for method area. Now, from Java 8, they have made that as a metaspace. So it is going to take memory from your RAM directly. We no need to go and give that 1 GB or 500 memory. We will not assign it. It will JVM will take care of it by automatically. Only for heap we will go and configure. For no other components, it is required for us to go and configure anything at all. JVM will take care of it.
Okay, so it will have min and max memory allocated.
No,
JVM itself?
no. Only for heap, we'll go and give a min and max. For everything else, your JVM will automatically allocate memory. It'll probably, if it is required, it will go and increase it, decrease it, but it will handle it by itself. We no need to give min and max.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Only for the heap, we'll go and provide that min and max by the architects or performance engineers. They will go and configure it. Okay. Now, I'll try to put this in a very simple terms. Okay, I'm not going to complicate this because we are not going to be a developer. We're not going to develop applications. From a performance engineering perspective, I'll keep it very simple, which means it might not be a very perfect book way of explanation. Okay, we don't need it. Okay, so if we are already creating scripts in LoadRunner or in Java, right? Sorry, LoadRunner or Jmeter, there will be a template, correct? You will have user init, you will have action, you will have user end, and there's going to be start transaction, end transaction. So most of these things are going to be a kind of a template, right? Any script, if you take it, most of these things are going to be always there. Okay, and a script can have multiple actions, and there is a start and there is an end, and that's how it is going to get structured. Okay. Now, similarly, in Java as well, you can think that it is always going to be a kind of a template. Okay. You're going to have these in any Java program, any enterprise application, if you take it, it will still follow this certain template. Okay, you will have Java programs. You will write Java programs, uh, more than one program, right? A login, logout, search, add to cart, checkout. For e-commerce application, you will have multiple such programs. When you compile it, your Java will become .class. It's as simple as that. So class is nothing but a program, a compiled program. Okay, and inside the Java program, you will have two things. One, you will declare variables. Okay, you to receive the input, to process it, to provide an output, you need variables, right? So in any program, you will have the variables declared, and then there will be an actual operation. Okay, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. If you think of a calculator application, you will have all these operations, right? So the actual operations are going to be written inside a method. Okay, so which means one program, one class file can have multiple operations called multiple methods. Okay, and then there are going to be variables that are declared at various point of your program. Okay, so a class file will have multiple variables declared, and it is going to have a multiple operations which we call as a methods. And when it comes to data declaration or a variables, there are two categories. As I said earlier, you have primitive and non-primitive. All small variables like integer, byte, character, boolean are called primitive. Okay, and that is what I told. These will get stored in the space called stack. Whereas your non-primitive like strings, arrays, objects will get stored in the your heap. For now, that is a difference you remember. That's enough. As we move forward, there is much more to it. The connection between primitive and non-primitive is very important. The connection between stack and heap is very important. That you will learn as we go further. For now, we just from a Java programming perspective, you just keep it very simple. A class file will have multiple methods, multiple primitive and non-primitive variables will be declared. Okay. Now, in any enterprise application, you will have multiple programs, as I said, right? So, a group of classes or group of programs, we call it as a package. Very simple packaging, right? So your login, logout, all this authentication can be part of authentication package, or all the database related interaction will be part of a database package. So a package is a logical grouping of various classes. As simple as that. There's nothing more to do with respect to what a package means. Package is a collection of programs. So application can have one or two or three packages. In each package, there will be more than one or two classes. In each class, there is going to be more than one or two methods and more than one or two variables. That is how the structure is going to be, as simple as that. Okay. And there's something called import. Like in LoadRunner, also we import the other libraries, right? If you remember. Similarly, you are not going to write. A developer is not going to keep writing thousands of code, right? He's going to reuse the other people's code, okay, to read a CSV file, to write a JSON file, or to connect to a database, or to connect to a third party through HTTPS connection, right? For all these things, I will not go and write any code at all. Already somebody has written the code. I'm just going to extend that for my program. So which means I have to import their packages, import their classes, right? So the other people's jar file, other people's your Java programs, I have to import it. So any program, any class file will have multiple imports. Okay, those reusable will be available within your enterprise itself. Some other team might have written something and they would have made it as a reusable. Or sometimes what will happen is you will also go and download the jar file from internet, from other repository. There are a lot of repository available. it's more of open source, which are contributed by many people, right? So you import those jar. I'll also show how we are going to do it. Okay, so this is the Java program skeleton: a class, object, method, package, and import, and then you have primitive and non-primitive. Okay, why this is important? When you go into profiling session and all these things will keep coming every time. Whatever you do, you will come across all these terminologies. Okay, now there's one more thing which I didn't mention is the object. Okay, so again, for the name object, there are various definitions available in many places. Again, I'll keep it little practical and simple for our understanding. Okay, um, now assuming that you are using Amazon.com. Okay, and I'm also using Amazon.com. You are going to purchase, say, a laptop, okay, a Dell laptop, and I'm going to purchase probably a couple of tennis racket. Okay, now you go into Amazon.com and then search for a laptop, and then you have finalized a laptop and you wanted to know a final price. Okay, at the same time, I also have finalized what tennis racket I have to buy, and I have selected it, and I also need to know the price of the product. Okay, so when I click a button uh, to get the price calculation, right, in Amazon.com server, there will be um, a functionality to calculate the price. Okay, so there will be a calculator class file. Okay, which can accept the product ID, and then it can provide the price, applying some discounts, offers, tax, everything. Okay, now you also going to call the same class or a program. I'm also going to call the same class program. When I say I going to call, I will not call. When I hit the button from my UI, there will be a call made to a backend, and the backend, your threads will receive the request, and it will go and find that particular code or a class file, and it will get executed. Now, program is only one, right? There's only one program which is going to do a calculation. But what will happen is at the runtime, the runtime, there will be a object that will be created for that particular program or class file. Okay, so the object is nothing but a instant of your class, or a duplicate of the class, or a blueprint of the class. Okay, so one instance of the class will be loaded for you. Another instance of the class will be loaded for me. Object 1 for you, object 2 for me. Okay, so which means that object will store product as laptop, quantity as 5 or 1. For me, object as tennis racket, quantity as 5. Okay, and then the code will get executed, and the final price will be calculated, and then the final price will go into the output to your UI. So object 1 is no more required. That activity is completed. So object 1 can be deleted. Can be deleted. Not will be deleted immediately. It can be deleted. Same way, object 2 also, it has completed the work. So object 2 also can be deleted later. So which means the runtime, there are going to be n number of requests coming in for all over the world. So there are going to be huge number of objects that will be created, destroyed, created, destroyed. Okay, so object is an instance of the class file or a duplicate of the class file. Object will be loaded at the runtime. Okay, and for every user, for every functionality, your objects will be created at runtime and it will get deleted. That's why in the heap section, right, all the strings, arrays, object, it is going to get stored in the heap. Multiple, numerous objects will be created, and you need somebody to do a cleanup, right? Once my search is completed, once I got my product price, that's it. That execution of the code is completed, right? So the objects that are created during that execution of the program has to be deleted, right? So that is where the GC will come into the picture. Okay, all these strings, arrays, and objects will go and sit in the heap, and garbage collection will clean it later. Okay, now let's not go into the GC and all, but from a definition of the object, you keep it as simple as what I said. Another example is what I have given it here in the slide. Okay, see, there is a registration, student registration application. Uh, so every student can log into that application and they can register it. Okay, so there are, say, for example, there are three students, one with John, one with Sophia, another one with Lily. Okay, they, when they open the registration form, they'll give the name as John, age as 12, color, and what is their hobby, everything. When they submit it, it will go and call the class file called student. Okay, runtime, there will be three objects that will be created. Okay, because there are three requests coming from three users. So the runtime, there will be three objects will be created. One to handle the request from John, one to handle the request from Sophia, another one to handle the request from Lily. Three objects will be created. Temporarily, it will store all these variables. And then once the registration is completed, code execution is completed, the user will say, get the response saying the registration is completed. And then these objects are now not required. It is going to be orphan, which means nobody needs it. It will be there in a heap, just like that. Okay, so like this, multiple objects will be created, used, and then it will go into a unused state, and it will be there in the heap. Later, it will get deleted by a garbage collection. Okay, so that is a definition of object. You just keep it as simple as that. No need to complicate, because as a performance engineer, this is what you would need. We are not going to create programs. You're not going to go and build applications here. Okay, from a definition perspective, class, object, method, package, primitive, non-primitive. Anybody have any basic questions? Please ask before I move forward.
Yeah, Satish, one thing, like you told that object are created and destroyed. So like
Yes,
when they are destroyed, actually, like can you give me a real case example?
when they are destroyed. So in this example itself, right now, assuming that there is a student registration form, I log in. I, as a student, I fill in all the details. Okay, and I click register. Okay, what will happen? It will go and call the registration uh, service, and registration service will go and call a particular class file. Okay, in that class file, there will be a lot of strings that will be declared, lot of arrays that will be declared, and there will be, it might call another class file. For that, it will create an object. Okay, so there are a lot of strings, arrays, objects will be created once you click that registration button. Okay, now uh, temporarily it will store a lot of things, and then finally it will calculate something. It will create a registration ID or a unique ID, and then it will go and store it in the database, and then it will send a confirmation saying that registration is completed. Now this process is completed, and you're logged out. But the strings, arrays, objects, whatever created now, right, is not of no use. Nobody is going to use it, right? It is that the temporary variable assignment is the usage is completed, but that is going to be there sitting in the heap. The state of that, we call it as a unreferenced, right? It's not going to have any reference. Nobody is going to use it.
Okay, okay.
So then these are the one which are candidate for the deletion later. Okay,
Mm.
the objects which are not going to have any usage, or if it is going to not going to get referenced at all, if it's not going to get called again, those are the one which will be deleted. Okay, when I go into the JVM memory session and memory leak and then garbage collection, you will understand a lot more better. Your doubts will be clarified when we go into that particular topic. Okay, but you got what I was saying, right? Able to understand what I said?
Yes, yes, yes. And the ones which are like which will not be destroyed, right? So how will the system identifies like okay, this one needs to be kept?
Yeah. Again, there is something related to the stack and heap. Okay,
Hmm.
I'll explain that in detail later also. But to answer this, if you see here in this diagram, okay, you have a stack, you have a heap. In the stack, you will have all the integer, character, boolean. In the heap, you will have objects, array, strings. Whenever a object or an array or a string is created, okay, there will be a address for that string, address for that array, address for the object will get stored in the stack. Okay, so there is always going to be a one-to-one mapping between your stack and heap. When a new object is created, the actual object of 10 MB, 20 MB will go and sit in the heap. And there will be a address, there will be a reference that will be created, or the address will be created, and that it will go and sit in the stack. Okay. Now what will happen is once that method execution is completed, or once that class execution is completed, uh, by default, most of these references will get deleted. All the integer character boolean will be getting deleted immediately. For integer boolean and all, we no need garbage collection. Okay, since it is getting stored in the stack, which is nothing but a thread's temporary memory. Once a work is over, thread work is over, thread will go to the another task. So all these temporary variables that are there in the stack will get deleted immediately. So your garbage collection will know what objects are having address, what objects are not having address. It will delete the objects which are not having an address. It will go and mark those objects which is not having an address, and then it will go and delete. So to answer your question, that's how your JVM or GC will know which objects has to be deleted. That is because of this relationship.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you that's a concept. That's the answer for this. But you will understand it better when we go into garbage collection and when we go into the memory leak analysis. Okay. Yeah. Now, what we'll do is I'll spend some time on whatever we spoke about these classes, objects, multiple classes are going to be there. You're going to call one class file from another class file. That's how any enterprise application is going to work. Okay. Now let's just go and look into some of these Java project, how it is organized, right? So that you will get a real feel of it. Okay. Now you go to your drive. Okay. And in the drive, I think I would have uploaded the Eclipse as well. If not, you can also download Eclipse from internet. That's not a problem. I might have deleted the Eclipse is of a huge size. You can download the Eclipse from internet. Okay, from my Eclipse site, it's going to be a zip file. It is not installable. You can download the Eclipse from your Eclipse site. So if I go to my D drive and then and again, Eclipse is an optional, but it is good to for you to get some hands-on. If you download Eclipse and then start writing some programs, compile it, you will get much more confidence. But it's not a mandatory. If somebody thinks that it is too much for you, if at all, I don't want you to think all these things are all technical, very tough, difficult. No way. With now Gen AI world, everything is easy. Okay, you can yourself go and create applications on your own. Okay, that's how the current situation is. So you keep your mind open, start doing this on your own. Okay, spend some time. So if you go to Eclipse, you will get this folder. So download Eclipse from your internet. Okay, and then go to the and open this Eclipse application. Okay, so I opened it already. Okay, first time when you open the Eclipse, okay, you can go and create a project. Okay, if you go to file and then go to new and then go and create a project. Okay, and in the project you can see that you need a Java project, and then next, and then you will create a new project. Okay, once you create a new project, you will get this kind of a structure. Java Basics is my project name. Okay, and when you create a new project, automatically you will have this JRE system library. and then you will have source, and in source you will have a default package. Okay, and you might not have any Java programs, so you can go and create your first program. Go to new, and then say you need a class file. Create a class file. Okay, so you're going to create a Java program. Okay, now I'll just go to my e-library application just to give you a structure of application. If you go to e-library application, okay, and then if you go to your Java resources, you will have source, and inside source you have multiple packages. As I said, a Java application will have multiple packages, and if you go to a particular package, you will have multiple Java programs. Okay, and every program, when you compile, it will be a class file, .java and a class, .java and a class. Compiled version of your Java is your class. Okay, and if you take any Java class file, you're going to have declaration like strings, arrays, objects. You will have integer. A lot of declarations are going to be there in any program, and you're going to have multiple methods as well. Inside one class file, you will have multiple methods. Open lib is your method, and then if I go to some other program, you have verify final is a method. So inside a class file, there can be multiple methods. Okay, so that's how a structure is going to be. If you take any enterprise application also, you will have multiple packages. Inside a package, you will have multiple Java programs which are nothing but a class file. And inside a class, you might have a multiple methods as well. Okay. So this is our e-library application, whatever I showed you yesterday. The corresponding Java code is what I'm showing it to you. Okay. All this admin login, add librarian, edit librarian, issue book, all these are all individual Java programs inside your package. Okay. If some of you are interested in getting this code as well, you can download the code from the Java T-Point site. So if you again go back to the drive, and in the drive, you have something called sheets. If you go to the sheet, okay, not this. If you go to this, there will be a come down. Yeah, you go to softwares and links. Okay, open the softwares and links. In that, there will be all the files, all the URLs from where you can download the software, right? Your JDK, your Eclipse, Tomcat, JProfiler. I have given the URLs from where you can download it. Even you can do a Google search, or you can go to the site directly and do it. If in case you want, you can go and refer to this URL also. Okay. Now, for your Eclipse, you can go to this and then you can download. And then for your Java project, e-library project, if you go to this, copy. Yeah, maybe site is down. Or if you want, I can zip the project and then I can give it to you as well. I have it in my local. I think the site is down for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it is down today. But I can give you the entire this project to you. I can upload it. If somebody needs this code, I'll give to you as well for your reference, for your understanding. Right? You can have it in your Eclipse. Okay. What we'll do today is what we'll do on Monday is we'll go and write these programs, small programs. We go to this. Yeah, we'll go and create a simple classes, simple method. How to create multiple classes and how to invoke one class file or one method from another class file. Connecting a DB, doing a DB connection from your Java program. Connecting to an HTTP request from your Java program. The intention here is to do small things which will help us to understand how a Java project is going to get structured. Okay. And if you want to learn Java, I don't know, you might be 3-year experience, 5-year experience, or 10-year experience. Since we are already in some projects, already in IT industry, right? You don't go and learn more in a structured way. Okay. You cannot start with your oops concept and then go to your data structure and then all the looping statements. You don't go theoretically in a book way. You will either lose interest, you will not get time. Okay, do other way around. Start writing programs. When you open Eclipse, when you open Visual Code, when you start writing programs and compile it, when you see the result, it is going to be a huge motivation for you. Okay. And again, here we are not going to be a developer. We are trying to get comfortable with these small things so that you can feel confident when you go into engineering. Okay, so you yourself declare some requirements. I need to read a CSV file and then convert that into a JSON, or I want to parse a CSV file, maybe do some analysis on that. You create some requirement for you, and then you, with the help of your blogs or with the help of GenAI, Copilot, and all, you create some small programs, put it in the Eclipse, compile it, run it. That's how we have to learn. And then once you get a program, then you can go and learn what is this program, why this is written in such a way. You can do a reverse engineering way of learning it. It will make your learning curve faster, and it will keep you motivated. You won't lose interest, and eventually you will learn. Again, you won't learn in 100% perfect way because we are not going to be developers. For our purpose, that is how you have to approach it. If at all you wanted to learn Java or Python, start writing the programs uh, at the beginning, and then try to learn why these are the things used. What is this function? What is this method? Why are we using this? It will keep you engaged. Okay, yeah. I'll pass it here, guys. So rough plan for Monday is we will go and complete these small programs. Okay, um, and then we'll see how to create a jar or create a war file. We'll go and deploy that in a Tomcat. All these we'll do it on Monday. And then from Tuesday to Friday, we will focus on response time analysis. One is from a server side and another one is from the client side. So your CPU profiling, client side profiling using JProfiler tools will be the plan for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's a plan for next week. Okay. Meanwhile, I have given access for the drive to everybody who have registered and made payment. I'll ping you the link as well. I think I have pinged it in the group also. I'll put it in the chat here. Okay. If somebody has registered, made payment, and if you not shared your email ID, share it to me. Or if you share it, the access is already given. Okay. Again, if people who have not registered, you can reach out to Kumar sir or the admins. Okay, we will not have session tomorrow and Sunday, but it will be a good time for you to set up your laptop with Java, Tomcat, deploying this war file. What I'll do is I'll ask the team to upload another video which will help you to set up this Tomcat, war file, SQL, MySQL, and all. You can do it over the weekend. If you guys have any questions or any problems, just send a note to me in the WhatsApp, send a image, and you can send a voice note. I'll try to help you offline. If required, we'll try to connect online also. But most of the time, I think we should be able to solve it offline itself. Okay, but make use of next 2 days to get your laptop ready for hands-on. At least once you should do hands-on for all these things uh, during the next 4 or 5 weeks or within the next 2 months. You try to have this hands-on definitely once at least. Okay, I'll pass it here, guys. Anybody have any questions? Please ask. We have 3 more minutes or 4 more minutes.
Hi, Satish. Answer this, right?
Hi, go ahead.
I'm audible.
Yes. You're audible. You can go ahead.
Actually, I'm working as a performance tester in my company. So my work is only perform the load test and interest test only. I don't have knowledge and I don't have experience on Dynatrace, AppDynamics, and this Java which you are explaining now just now. So it is better to join after learn Dynatrace, AppDynamics. Otherwise, it is fine to join this course.
No, do one thing. Yeah, do one thing. You just give me a call tomorrow anytime. Okay, in the morning or afternoon. Okay. I'll try to understand your experience, skill set, and then I'll recommend. Okay, I don't want to give a direct answer to this. I'll try to understand
Okay.
your requirement and then your skill set, and then I'll recommend the right course for you.
Course. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, answer.
Satish, this is Giridhar. I have one question. Is it okay if I will call you after this our
I I
class?
I have I have another
Okay.
session right after this, after 5 minutes. Can we do it tomorrow morning?
Okay. Thank you.
Huh? Yeah, or you just send me a voice note. I can answer it after 11 p.m. also, or you can connect tomorrow morning.
No, actually, I was trying to configure this Java agent in Spring Boot application.
Mhm.
I was not able to do and facing some challenges. Thought to check with you one time.
Okay. Do one thing. Send me what you tried and send me what error is you're getting it. Okay. We can connect tomorrow if required. But you send me what you've done so that I can look into it and then come back to you with the answer as well.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Okay, fine, guys. We'll then meet on Monday. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you.